Sometimes people come in here, like they bring their kids in here just to show them what the video store was like. They, say, oh, this is what we used to do all the time. This is like a real video store. This is the way it used to be. I'm thinking we should maybe charge admission. And it's like a museum.
My dad has worked in the movie business since 1982. He's not a director, an actor, or a production crew member. He's the owner of Video Universe, one of the last independently owned video rental stores left in Minnesota.
For me, playing more of a role in relation to video stores would probably been the fact that I watched a lot of movies or had a lot of interest in movies and knew a lot about movies before the video store thing came about. So I was kind of in the right place at the right time for when it started.
In 1976, several firms introduced the videocassette recorder, or VCR. People could record shows or movies and watch them later, which threatened the need to tune into reruns of popular programs on television. This technology sparked the videotape format war, as Video Home System, VHS, and Betamax recorders competed for popularity in the home entertainment market, with VHS ultimately becoming the dominant format. As studios released more copies of movies on VHS, independent and chain video rental stores opened for consumers to bring movies home to watch. By the 1990s, DVDs appeared in video stores too.
And it was hard. It was hard to watch movies back in this would have been the 1960s, the 1970s. When I was young, movies would come and they would go and then they'd be gone pretty much unless they showed up on TV. At that point in time, there was pretty much 3 or 4 channels. But I would say starting in about maybe the early 70s, there was a lot of film clubs that popped up around the Twin Cities, which I went to a lot of movies in all these weird little theaters, these little places that had maybe 30 seats or 40 seats. I suppose now they'd call it like micro cinema or something. But there was a lot of those, so I saw a lot of the old classic movies in these strange old little movie theaters around town. And the University of Minnesota, I think, had a film club back then, and we'd go see movies there. It was a real hunting process. It was so much different to find out about old movies without the internet.
In the early 2000s, during the peak of the video rental industry's success, the emergence of Redbox and Netflix's DVD by mail service entered the market. These disruptors drastically reduced the mega video rental chain's revenue and displaced the indie stores throughout the country, leading to the closure of many locations. Video rental stores lost visibility in the public eye, and people stopped seeing physical retail stores as a way to access movies. Thus, consumers turned to video on demand, cable systems, and streaming services, hammering yet another nail into the coffin of home video. Today, consumers no longer need to leave their homes to watch movies. The collapse of the mega video rental chains indicates that it may well be the end of an era. Yet some independent video store owners have remained steadfast through this culture shift despite their competitors closing their doors. My dad is one of those people. Growing up, my dad worked at the video store, primarily on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. While he worked, I remember Saturday movie nights, where my mom, my younger brother Caleb, and I would watch the movies my dad brought home as part of our movie education. He'd expose us to some of his favorite TV shows and movies along with the classics. And, like father, like son, instead of perusing Netflix or Hulu's curated movie selection, Caleb works part-time at the video store and continues to bring home movies to watch.
When Caleb's putting movies away, I think a lot of times he falls into a trap of looking at the boxes and reading the boxes, and he's always coming home with something like, where'd this thing come from, But that's because he's putting stuff away and you just encounter something, or it's the movie that's next to it. You don't know. I mean, that's the thing with the video store. A lot of it is serendipity, and you're walking around and all of a sudden you see something and then you see something else. You kind of watch one movie and then you go, oh, I want to see another movie with this person. So you can spend a whole day watching, Jack Lemmon movies or Cary Grant movies, and it just kind of rolls from one thing to the next. When I was 19, I had at that point the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and up into the mid-70s of movies to catch up with. Now Caleb's 19, but my God, I mean, look at all the movies he's got back behind him. He's got all the movies that I had before me, and yet he's got all the movies from the mid-70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000, 2010s. There's so much more stuff of interest, probably, hopefully.
Caleb and I watched raunchy and off-color comedies at a younger age than we probably should have. The first R-rated movie I remember watching was Paul, with Seth Rogen and Simon Pegg. There was something about that crude and sarcastic alien which I found humorous. And, like my dad said, this one movie led me down a path of watching other buddy stoner action comedy movies. I'm sure these films influenced my sense of humor and personality, but when I meet others who understand my movie references, more often than not, we develop a quality friendship.
You just get to know people after they've been coming in for so long. And a lot of it doesn't even have to do with movies. People come in and certain people, you'll start talking about politics or sports. You know, all of a sudden you can spend 10, 15 minutes of your time, you know, you almost have to, kick them out so you can, you have to say, I got to get some work done finally.
Netflix routinely adds and removes films, usually based on licensing agreements. In contrast, video rental stores preserve the alternative, the forgotten, the direct-to-video, and the straight-up weird movies.
People come in and they're looking for some kind of old classics or movies with somebody that's in it. Some people think that because we have all these movies that we have absolutely everything, and that they're a little upset when we don't have something that they come in and ask for. And then other people are just like so amazed that we've got just about everything that they ask for. My head's like kind of a Rolodex of stars and movies, and somebody will ask for a movie that a certain person is in, and you just can kind of put it together.
From classics to B titles to new releases, there are so many movies I've yet to see. But how can I if my only way to access movies is choosing from a small library that's always rotating? Before I moved to attend college, it was so easy to ask my dad to bring home a movie to watch with my friends. Now that I'm over 150 miles away from Video Universe, when I want to share a movie with my friends, I can't find it on Netflix or Hulu. Not everything on VHS transitioned to DVD, and I can't stream every movie available on DVD. So what is the future of physical media?
I think you're going to find that movies could be very collectible. There's more and more product that you can't get anymore. It's almost like they're going to be the equivalent, I think, maybe to like comic books, where you can maybe have, 20 years from now, you might have VidCon 2040, where it's like a movie convention, and you have tables full of movies and DVDs and all this stuff, because I think as we move along, there's going to be less and less physical media, but there's a huge number of people out there that just love all this kind of stuff. I don't know whether it's more about the boxes than the movies in a way, but VHS tapes are hugely collectible right now.
Technological developments have pushed society toward the era of convenience. Nowadays, experience has become a valuable commodity. My dad suspects that more independent stores would be alive today if Blockbuster and Hollywood Video had not created a system subject to destruction by Netflix and Redbox. You're right, it's easy to watch films from the comfort of your own home, but there's something lost in that ease of use.
And a video store is a place that you have to go to. It doesn't come to you, right? People will call, can you send this here? We want this. And it's like, no, this is a video store. You need to come down here. This is like a brick and mortar video store. You need to come down here and look around, because there's very few places left where people can do that with how few the bookstores there are. The era of browsing is getting away from us, and I think it's kind of nice to have a place that's left that you can look around.